G'day guys, Jason here from Positive Real Estate and welcome along to the Friday tips and strategies email of the week, and maybe a little bit of shot in the arm to keep you rolling out there in the marketplace, get through all this negative sentiment and get out there and make some money as a professional property investor. Hey, today I'm going to touch on something that everyone in the investing world always likes to do, is renovation. You know, we at Positive Real Estate love renovations, but there's some rules and bits and pieces around the renovation process that we always like to make sure that we consider before go ahead and doing a renovation. Remember, I touched a couple of weeks ago on the 6 strategies, the 6 strategies that we use quite often. Buying at a discount, buy something really well. Renovate a property, something that's fantastic, we'll go through that a bit later on. Straddling a property, being able to subdivide a property as well. Maybe develop in the future, or buying a property off the plan. Because as property investors, we don't want to wait around for the marketplace to give us our capital growth all the time. Sometimes it gives us good growth, sometimes it gives us poor growth. But we as professional property investors who want to make money and be able to control our equity and control our wealth, want to be able to force value on a property. And renovation is a classic. Renovating's been around forever and a day, and it's a fantastic way to add some value to property. So what are the things that we like to concentrate on? We've got many tips below here in the email, and if you want more tips than I covered today, you need to come along to one of our property investment nights. But first and foremost, as a renovator, the biggest mistake we see again and again and again is overcapitalisation. Buying a property, renovating it way more than it should be for the marketplace or the value rent return you're going to get. Something that's really important to understand from a property investor's point of view. If you're going to buy and hold a property long term, in the beginning, sometimes the rents are a bit lower than you'd want. Later on in the future, obviously they're going to go up. But in the beginning, you want to get those rents up as quick as possible. And renovating, an internal renovation or an external renovation, depending on which one you need, will enable you to put the rents up very quickly. That's something that we love. When we talk to our property investors and we say, listen, you've got to get your rents up 6 and 7%, so your holding costs are much lower. People say, well, I looked in this suburb, I can't find a property that's a 7% yield. And that's mostly true. In most really good suburbs, the 7% yield is not there. But what happens as a property investor, you need to understand how to create that yield, how to create that rental yield as a property investor, and renovating is the way to go. You buy the property, maybe get it at a bit of a discount, and then you spend some money, add some value, and you can put your rents up. Making sure we don't overcapitalise, making sure we don't put tile bathrooms in and tile the walls and all that sort of thing. Make it really fancy and flash, something that you'd love to live in, but the marketplace or the area just doesn't call for it. Minor renovations. We're big fans of minor renovating, especially in the early days, and we're looking for bang for your buck. You want to get, if you put $1 in, you want to get $2 back. If you put in $20,000, you want to be able to increase your rent 3 times that amount as a dollar figure. So if you put in 20 grand, you want to be able to increase your rent $60 a week. That's the aim that we have a look at as a property investor. There's some of the benchmarks. Now, obviously, if it's a bit lower, that's okay, but that's the benchmark we want to aim for. Now, external renovations are quite good as well. They freshen up the outside of a property very quickly, and they allow you to quite often get a revaluation on a property very quickly. In the past, when the banking system is a little bit more liberal with their money, we've done some renovations just on the outside while the tenants were still there. We renovated in 1 week, fixed up the property on the outside, and then sent the valuers back to revalue the property and got our equity back within a week. Now that's very difficult at this moment in time to do in the banking system or the finance system at the moment, but that concept is still something that holds true, especially for rents and values in the future. But keep it in your pocket. It's probably not the best one to use right now, but external renovations are good, but used at the right time in the right place. Now, another little trick, another little tip as a property investor, when you buy a property, if you're going to renovate the property, during your settlement period, when you go and make an offer on a property, in your contract, you want access to renovate and freshen up the property. And so before you even own it, while you've gone unconditional on your contract and bought before you settle, get in there in that 4 to 6 weeks period and renovate the property and have a new tenant come in at a new price. We've done this hundreds of times and it's fantastic. The way the tenant might be renting at $300 a week, You get in there on someone else's money and someone else's time. You've signed the contract and that's all fine. And you invest $20,000, freshen the property up, and then your tenant now comes in at a new rental of $400. It's fantastic. No downtime for you, no holding costs for you, and you've got your property renting at the prime rental income that you really, really want. Look around for properties that have got good structural bones, okay? Now don't get properties that have got big cracks in them or major things to do to the properties. If you're doing something major to a property, then my definition is that's verging on the edge of a development, not necessarily a renovation. So, there's a line between renovating and then developing. But hey, they're good too, but for many of us, we don't have the time or the inclination to do those sorts of things. But simple stuff, look for a property with good bones, but just a bit ratty, bit run down. We had a property we renovated only about 9 months ago. When we went into the property, and this is no joke, there was at least 100,000 cockroaches, and a person was living in there. It was just disgusting. Now, everyone else run for the hills. We bought the property, had to bomb it completely with the pest inspector, and fixed it up, and the rent went up from $220 to $480 a week. Fantastic. It didn't take much to freshen that property up, which was good. Listen, sometimes, especially these days, many property investors are buying interstate. You live in Victoria and you're buying in Queensland. You live in New South Wales and you're buying in Western Australia. Wherever the market, wherever you're buying, sometimes you're going to need assistance. A really good property manager who understands their own local market is fantastic, or a professional project manager for a good price can do your renovation for you. Get some assistance, and don't be afraid to pay a couple of bucks to get someone to manage the renovation if you're not there. Okay? Do your numbers, make sure that you see some other market evidence in the area that's going to get your rents up. You're going to push your rent from $300 to $400. Get an appraisal from a local real estate agent. Ask them to put it in writing. If I spend X or Y, and quite often the agent will tell you what you need to do to get the rent up themselves. If I spend this money, can I increase the rent, and what do you think I'll get? Many agents, especially the good ones, will say, yeah, no problem, spend 20 grand and I can put the rent up $60. No problem at all, and this is what you need, and you need a new kitchen or whatever it might be. So get some assistance, do your numbers. One thing I'll just leave you with that I call arbitrage, and just as something to think about, maybe next month or next week I'll chat about this. That when we're going from a minor renovation to a major renovation, I call it the arbitrage, the bedroom arbitrage. You can buy 2-bedroom houses and put a 3rd bedroom on, or carve up internally. The house might be quite large, and you put another wall in and turn it into 3 bedrooms, and the price increase is very, very good. But I'll leave you with that one to think about. If you want more information about renovating and other tips and strategies, encourage you to come along to our property information nights. We hold them all around the country. They're fantastic. There's some great speakers there. You'll meet some cool people who are interested in property too. Do some networking, and maybe get a bit of a shot in the arm, and keep your energy high. So until we speak again, take care and be safe in the marketplace.